If I had to explain who OnePlus is in just one phrase, I'd say OnePlus makes great phones. I bought my new OnePlus 6 as soon as sales started, and after about 3 weeks of use, my experience so far has been great, but not perfect. Let's just say I have a lot to say about it. I'm Titus, this is The Search for Awesome, and this is my OnePlus 6 review. I ordered this phone at launch 30 minutes after it opened up for sales, and to my surprise, it showed up on my doorstep just 8 days after I clicked the Buy Now button. You might be thinking, so what? But OnePlus has a history of not always being able to supply the demand for their phones. I remember being on a waiting list trying to purchase their first phone when they debuted as a company. So it's nice to see they've stepped up their game here. They have 3 color options and 2 of them are black. Kinda funny, but I'm actually serious. One is a shiny black and one is more of a matte black. I went with the matte black, which is the correct choice. I don't even think there is a shiny black version. This is probably just a test OnePlus puts on their websites when you're ordering. The other is a white color with gold accents, which is also a wrong choice. In the box, it has a manual, safety sheet, sticker, a SIM card ejector, and the phone itself. And get this, the phone has a real screen protector applied, and the box includes a rubber case so you're covered on both ends out of the box. That's really awesome. Tell me, why isn't this standard on all phones? On the inside, it's packing an octa-core Snapdragon 845 and Adreno 630, which is the same processor and GPU as the Samsung Galaxy S9, which is considerably more expensive. It's equipped with up to 256 gigs of flash storage and up to 8 gigs of RAM, which I think is a new record for phones. With these specs, this phone is fast. I did my best to really put it through its paces, and I can't think of one time the phone has so much as skipped a frame. The phone has a beautiful design. I really dig the matte black color, which is the best option, but it is surprisingly slippery and a bit of a fingerprint magnet. For these beauty shots, I had to clean the phone constantly. I wouldn't leave home without a case if I were you. I picked up their nylon-backed case, and it's pretty nice, but more on accessories later. At the bottom, it sports a USB-C charging port, speaker grill, and headphone jack. One thing I did find disappointing, although I'm used to this now, is I'd love OnePlus and any phone maker really to put a dual front-facing speakers in instead of the bottom-firing ones we see most phones have today. But there is some good news here. These do sound fine, and they actually are louder than my previous OnePlus 3. Considerably so, honestly. I'd say 30% louder at the maximum volume. So I was glad to see an improvement here. On the left, you have a volume rocker and dual nano SIM slot, and on the right is your power button, and they relocated the alert slider on the right side for easier access for your thumb. And on the back is their dual camera system with the fingerprint reader right below it. I actually like this location. It's easily accessible to your index finger. It even has water resistance, although it's not official IPX rated like the Samsung Galaxy S9, so maybe don't swim with it in your pocket. I think the first thing people notice when they see this phone is that, notch. I mean, when I first heard OnePlus was putting an imperfection into the face of their new flagship phone, I started looking for another new phone. But in the end, they won me over. And I know people that have the iPhone X with the original imperfection say, after a few days, I don't even notice it anymore. And I just roll my eyes at them and I'd continue on with my day. But in this case, with the OnePlus 6, I don't notice the notch. Well, what I mean to say is, it doesn't get in the way whatsoever. OnePlus has just perfectly implemented this imperfection. First off, the OnePlus 6 notch appears to be about half the width of the iPhone X's notch, which means you can actually fit notifications up there. And what's my other problem with the previously dreaded notch? Oh yeah, in landscape mode, it looks like the iPhone X took a bite out of all my apps. Well, OnePlus has solved that issue as well. By default, no app uses the notch while in landscape. The only exception to that rule is YouTube and Facebook. And YouTube videos don't stretch far enough for the notch to nibble off part of the video. so that's totally fine with me. Also in YouTube, if you want to utilize a little more of your screen, you can pinch and zoom in. I just wish the YouTube app supported a higher than 1080p resolution on this phone, because when you stretch the screen, the image takes a noticeable dip in quality. This is a mild complaint, but OnePlus, I don't know if you can fix that, but if you can, that would be appreciated. And while we're talking about the display, let's talk about the display. Ever since their first phone in 2014, OnePlus has always stuck with the 1080p screens in their phones, and I gotta say, when I heard they were sticking with that for the OnePlus 6 in 2018, no less, I was pretty underwhelmed. But this screen is great. My previous phone was a OnePlus 3, and I can say that this is hands down a much improved screen. It's plenty bright, even outside. The colors look really nice. They aren't too saturated and not too blah either. Everything looks great, but also real. It doesn't have that too saturated fake look you see on some phones. Samsung. And they have alternative color screen options if you don't like the default, but for me, I'm plenty satisfied with the standard. It's kind of surprising that this is 1080p. I mean, if someone had told me it was a higher resolution, I'd probably believe them. I think I heard another reviewer say that, and I didn't really believe them when they said it. But look at it for yourself, it's really nice. And OnePlus has kept with the 1080p resolution for pretty good reasons, it seems. 1, to keep their prices down, and 2, to conserve battery life. Both make sense on paper. So I won't say this is a strike against the OnePlus 6 because the display is great, and adding a little more resolution probably wouldn't improve the day-to-day experience with the phone. Using this device for VR is probably not a good idea since your eyes will definitely notice the pixels up close. Also, I'm not sure how VR would work with the notch. Are you, like, missing a piece of one of your eyes? TLDR, I like the screen, but let's just move on. So let's talk about the camera. I gotta say, this is a really nice camera setup. On the front and back, it sports 16 megapixel cameras, and the back's main camera also has optical image stabilization and sports a secondary 20 megapixel camera. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure more expensive phones are just as nice or maybe even nicer, but I have a hard time believing other phones will blow away the picture quality of this phone. The colors are vivid, but look right, and everything is clear and crisp. It does a good job at capturing detail. I think the built-in optical image stabilization must help quite a bit with reducing the shakiness that comes with holding a phone steady for a picture. Just like any phone, it does struggle in low light, but hey, even my camera, the GH5, has troubles when light is sparse. I tried my brother's Samsung Galaxy S9, which are known to have great cameras, and I'd say the battle was pretty close. Sure, some shots looked better on the S9, but others, I think I might actually like the OnePlus 6 more, like this one. This camera definitely holds strong against the main competitors out there. When you get to phone cameras of this quality, I think it really comes down to the skill of the photographer more than the sensor and the lens of the camera itself. It even does a pretty good job when you punch in 2x. It still is a nice looking image. You might think it's because it's switching to the secondary camera, but it actually doesn't. It's still the same main camera punching in. And the OnePlus 6 can do portrait mode, which I guess there are people that want that. Listen, I like blown out background blur as much as the next guy, but I'm not sure this phone needed a second sensor just for this one feature. Well, I think it was just for this one feature. More on that later. But yeah, the blur and portrait mode is pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. It's a really nice looking shot until you look a little closer and see that sometimes it doesn't get the edges quite right. But then again, as a whole, portrait mode works pretty well. If you look at the image as a whole and don't zoom in looking for the flaws, not that I would ever do that. In this example, the phone does an okay job of blurring the pumpkin in the foreground a good bit and then blowing out the background. And here is the same picture without portrait mode on for a comparison. In the front-facing camera's portrait mode came as a software update while I was doing my review, and again, I'm satisfied. Sure, some of my hairs on the edge were blurred a bit more than they should have been, but as a whole, the image looks nice. And can I comment on the front camera? I guess even if you said no, you can't stop me. When I heard it was a 16 megapixel sensor, I thought that was pretty overkill. But it is a nice camera too. Its detail, I'm assuming from the extra megapixels, is just really nice. It's sharp looking, and again, the colors look fantastic. It might be my favorite front-facing camera, but I haven't used that many others, so it's tough to say. Okay, enough about the picture quality. On to my favorite, video quality. I personally value video quality over photo quality. I always say if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video must be worth 1,000,000. And the OnePlus 6 doesn't disappoint. I think this phone has excellent video quality, considering it's just a phone. 4K looks nice, but even better, the 4K at 60 frames per second is just wow. And yeah, it does look really nice. It's so nice and smooth, and the colors look natural yet stand out. I'm really impressed here. And the OIS, or optical image stabilization, does a pretty good job of keeping the camera steady in motion. Holding the phone and panning around, I thought looked great and steady, but even walking, you can tell the OIS is doing some pretty good work here. In this test, walking around with the camera, I'd say until the loop around, camera shake is there, but not too jarring. And it's usable even being looped around. That's a pretty intense test though. But holding the phone in a selfie way and walking, that really impressed me. Or getting the ever so classic feet shot, not too shabby. This is a test of the front-facing camera. It only shoots up to 1080p, and it's like really zoomed in. If you take a picture of the front-facing camera, it's much more wide than this, and I'm holding it about at arm's length, so there you go. Probably not the best for a vlog, considering it's so tight. And that's also what it sounds like, by the way. So this is the back-facing camera. It shoots up to 4K at 60 frames per second, which is what you're seeing now. So it's really smooth. It also has that optical image stabilization on the back. And that's what it sounds like as well. You're hearing it straight from the mic, and there is some background noise going on. The sound recording from the built-in mic could use some work, but it's not the worst if you're in a pinch and need to capture something. Let me know if you'd like me to do a vlog with just the OnePlus 6 in the near future. I haven't done a vlog in a while, but I wouldn't mind giving it a go if there was interest. I will mention though, video at 4K 60 frames per second is limited to 5 minutes of recording at a time, and regular 4K is limited to 10 minutes. One thing I find special about OnePlus phones is they do a great job keeping their phones up to date. OnePlus has just built a reputation for supporting their phones. My OnePlus 3 got the Android 8.0 update a few months back, and that phone is nearly 2 years old. And it got that update before phones that are much newer. And even a day after I got my new OnePlus 6, my old OnePlus 3 got another update with a security patch and several enhancements throughout the phone, like adding Face Unlock, refining the UI, improving the included weather app, and more. This is something OnePlus definitely did not need to do. This isn't bug fixes, just free enhancements for a phone they don't even sell anymore. So I expect the OnePlus 6 to be no different. One reason they can do this is they just release one phone at a time, roughly 2 a year. Compare that to Samsung or LG, which launch tons of phones every year. But the other reason is Oxygen OS, which is the OnePlus version of Android, is so much lighter than the competition. They don't just change things for the sake of changing things. Take the many things Android gets right and leaves those alone, and add tweaks and some light customizations to separate their phones from the pack, but still allow it to function like stock straight from Google Android. And it's the tweaks that makes this phone special. Let's go through some of these, shall we? Dashboard just left of the main home screen is back, with a section for writing memos, another one for recent contacts, another one for recent apps, and plenty of more options. And you can remove any of that and add widgets. It's a nice simple feature that I think anyone can appreciate or just ignore. It has a light built-in video editor where you can add filters and music to your video. It works pretty well for what it is. A killer feature that seems so simple is that you can set media priority for the volume rocker. We've all had that moment of annoyance where we hit the volume rocker and it changed the ring volume, thinking it would impact the media volume instead. Another feature that is part of the software but also part of the hardware is their alert slider. Easily slide from ring to vibrate to just silent. And OnePlus has really thought through the balance between convenience and security. Face Unlock works really fast, but because OnePlus isn't 100% confident in its complete security, it automatically doesn't allow you into sensitive apps without a fingerprint. Apps like your banking app, and you can add other apps as well for fingerprint-only access, like Gmail. And the OnePlus 6 also has the ability to double tap this screen to turn the screen on, and this works perfect with Face Unlock because you just double tap and the screen somewhat securely unlocks. But when I was testing, I managed to unlock the phone with just a picture of myself, but it was pretty hard and I couldn't replicate it on the camera when I tried it here, so I think somewhat secure is a fitting description. You can even double tap to turn the screen off as well. Both of these double tap features do need to be enabled, mind you. Also, this phone offers a gesture mode with no navigation buttons, and you just use gestures to navigate your phone instead of the traditional Android buttons. Now, I've heard the iPhone X does this better, but I used this mode for a couple of days and I never went back. I really like it. It's super clean and it just works. But you do give up getting to Google Assistant easily by holding the home button. There's even more available gestures when the phone is locked. I have the phone turn on its light when I swipe in a V pattern, or play and pause when I swipe down with 2 fingers. They even have a custom alternative font. See, I just love all these slight tweaks, none of them groundbreaking, but help the OnePlus 6 stand out while staying true to what makes Android great. And one other tweak, since the phone is so tall and you probably don't want to reach all the way to the top for notifications, OnePlus has your back. On the home screen, pulling down from the middle gets you right into notifications. They even added a hidden space next to your app drawer, so if you don't want people to know that you still played Minecraft, you can throw it over there. That way, if anyone borrows your phone, it won't be visible unless they know about the hidden space. And then they'll immediately look for what you're hiding. Okay, just don't think about that, moving on. And the last notable feature is game mode. This one didn't make sense to me until I knew what all it could do. And if you game a lot on your phone, you will love this. Game mode has several features, including blocking game interrupting notifications, with the exception of phone calls and alarms. It can reserve your phone's internet access to mainly support your game. It can even lock your brightness so it doesn't radically change during gameplay. It can potentially run your game at a lower resolution and FPS to limit your game's drain on your battery, although when trying that feature with Fallout Shelter and Dead Trigger, I'm not sure it did anything. It's tough to tell though. But it can even automatically put phone calls on speakerphone when someone calls, if you just refuse to be broken away when it's game time. You do have to manually add the games you want this mode to work with, but once you do, enjoy. OnePlus truly went above and beyond trying to add useful smart enhancements to the Android OS. On the inside, it has a 3,300 mAh battery with fast charging support. This battery size is fine for this size of phone, but I wouldn't have complained if it was a little thicker and had a bit more. But I can honestly say the battery life is pretty good, to perhaps even great. The first day I used it was a heavy day. First, I woke up really early at 5 a.m. Throughout the day, I made phone calls for about an hour and a half, sent several texts, watched an hour or two of YouTube, listened to 6 to 7 hours of podcast, don't judge me. I also just checked my phone periodically throughout the day and surfed the web for a bit. And after that very heavy day of phone use, I ended the day at 10:15 p.m. with 10% of the battery to spare. The second day was lighter with more regular use, and I decided to use it until it died just to see how far I could go. I made it all the way to the following day at about 5 p.m. I think this is pretty good, and when the phone upgrades to the new Android P, battery should be even better. And if you forget to charge your phone or just need a little extra juice throughout the day, the quick charging on the OnePlus 6 is pretty impressive. In just 10 minutes, I was able to go from the phone being dead to an 18% charge, which is plenty for a couple hours of light to medium use. Although I'm a big OnePlus fan, one concern I have is their prices rising after each phone they produce. This new OnePlus 6, for instance, starts at $529, whereas my previous OnePlus phone, the OnePlus 3, started at only $400. And the OnePlus One, the first phone they made, I bought before that one, started at only $299. But I'd be lying if I said I felt cheated and the phone wasn't worth the asking price. I do sort of wish they cut a few more corners to get the price closer to that $400 mark, like removing one of those cameras on the back. I'm sure some of you will disagree, so sound off in the comments, but I don't need portrait mode. And somehow OnePlus has already managed to do portrait mode on the front-facing camera with just one camera anyway. So why not go down that route and cut down the price a little? Or go with no notch. I have to imagine going with a rectangular display would have been cheaper. And did we need a 16 megapixel front-facing camera? Okay, I actually like that feature. I understand that OnePlus wants to be a premium and budget-friendly brand, but I don't think that one-upping the competition helps when it's driving the price to be pretty close to the competition. Like right now, you can get a new Galaxy S9 for about $150 more. Still, a lot of savings, sure, but not like when they began, when they were offering flagship features at half the price. Anyway, I'm done ranting. This is more of a concern than an actual criticism. I do just worry one day in the far future when I'm looking to upgrade my phone again and the Samsung S something is the same price as the OnePlus 11. I don't upgrade my phone often. I just don't see how OnePlus survives as a company if that becomes the reality. But what do I know anyway? One last note about the price though, I went with the 8 gig RAM with the 128 gig solid state hard drive option over the base model. Talk about a hypocrite when I just criticized them on the price tag, and then I paid more than I had to. But I think you should too. The extra RAM means that the phone should offer a quality experience for a longer period of time, and the extra storage will help with the growing pains. This is well worth that $50 upgrade. Thank you OnePlus for offering an actually decent upgrade option. I'm almost done, but before I give my conclusion, let's talk accessories. One thing I really like about OnePlus is they have their own store of accessories for their phones that are reasonable in price. I picked up the nylon case and a tempered glass screen protector when purchasing the OnePlus 6. The tempered glass screen protector is really easy to install, and I really liked this screen protector for about 4 days. I couldn't believe it. It broke in my pocket. To be fair, I had keys in my pocket with it, but I have never had one of these break so easily. Now, I did reach out to OnePlus about a replacement, and although they at first couldn't replace it, after a bit of arguing, they later changed their mind and sent me a replacement to their credit. And then, I kid you not, that one broke too. But this time, I literally have no idea how it broke. I just looked at it one day after I got it, and it was broken. Maybe I just had a stroke of bad luck, but I'm not sure I can recommend their tempered glass screen protector for this reason. I think because the screen is slightly rounded, it causes the glass to flex a little, and when it's bending, maybe it makes it a bit more likely to break. Not sure, just a theory, but if you pick one up, let me know what you think in the comments. But again, they include a pre-installed screen protector when you buy the phone, so maybe just use that one. After the two fails, I grabbed a different screen protector off Amazon. It's been great, and it's only $8. I dropped an affiliate link in the description if you're interested. It's not tempered glass though, sad. And about the nylon case, it feels nice, kinda like blue jean denim material mixed with rubber, and it offers a comfortable amount of protection coming past the camera to prevent it from getting dinged, and just slightly past the edges on the corner of the phone, giving a cushion of protection for the glass screen. And the sides are rubber, not hindering pressing the volume or power buttons. It doesn't add too much weight either. It's pretty low profile with just the, if I do say so myself, pretty cool OnePlus logo on the back. And as nice as this is, they messed up in one way. The cutout for the headphone jack isn't wide enough. It works if you have a low profile headphone jack, but I have a few of mine I used on my old phones that are wide loads. Not the end of the world, I can just replace the old cables. But never fear, there are already third parties on Amazon selling other specially made cases at pretty good prices too. I have been a OnePlus fan from the beginning, and my only complaint about my first OnePlus phone is the screen broke after it got ran over by a car. Long story. My OnePlus 3 was also great, and my new OnePlus 6 does not disappoint. I can easily recommend it to anyone if they have the budget for it. And apparently others agree, because as of this recording, OnePlus has sold over 1 million of these new OnePlus 6 phones. Apparently it's their fastest selling phone ever. And I think OnePlus deserves it. They really have a hit on their hands. It's not just a phone that is great for the money. It's just a great phone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video and you found it helpful. And if you don't mind, could you do me a favor and hit the like or the dislike button to let me know how you felt about the video? I'd really appreciate it. And if you really liked it, please subscribe and hit that bell notification icon below. I have videos of more OnePlus gear in the very near future, including the OnePlus backpack, the new, where are they? These new OnePlus wireless Bullet headphones that just came out, and I think right now they're out of stock, but hopefully they'll be back in stock soon. These things are awesome, by the way. And I also got a wired version of these that were only 20 bucks, and I'm going to be comparing those to my favorite earbuds, which are the Bose earbuds that I've had for a while, and that should be a fun video as well. So please stick around, and if nothing else, thank you so much. I'm Titus again, this is The Search for Awesome, and I'll see you next time.